like to introduce Joe Esch from Walter Government.
Thank you, Melissa.
And folks, I'm going to be coming around just to collect any sign up to speak for us.
Good evening. Thank you for coming this evening. This is the third of the 5 public meetings we're holding. Our firm, Walton Valley Development Partners, has been working, as Melissa indicated, for over a year with the city and DAI to talk about downtown development. Between now and August, actually starting February 15th in August, our goal is to work with the community, with the city, to help evaluate the projects that are under consideration.
Sir, could you speak up?
I would be happy to.
Thank you.
Is that better? The mic doesn't work. I can use it, but it won't affect the thing. I'm still live. Where to start? Okay. Anyway, we've been working for over a year on downtown redevelopment and some of the projects and processes moving forward. Between now and August of this year, we're going to be working to evaluate the opportunities. In August of this year, not later than August 15th, we're going to come back to the City Commission with a series of recommendations on these projects. Before that time, we're here to listen to what you have to say. We're here to provide you with information and evaluate these projects as they go forward. Now, when you talk about a public-private partnership, there's oftentimes some misconceptions. Oftentimes, people think of public-private partnerships as a giant piñata. The misconception is that the developer, that nasty private sector developer, is going to take all the money from the city and they're going to get all the candy. The next thing they think is, when the piñata is empty, there's nothing left for the community. The reality of it is, and I'm not going to tell you that those two things don't happen, because they do and they have and they will. Anytime a community or anybody enters into a business transaction, if you do not take care of yourself, it's possible that that happens. But that's not the case. That's not the way we do business, and that should not be an example of a good public-private partnership. This is a good example of a good public-private partnership. This is how it can be done. This is a picture that you saw earlier of Sugar Land Town Square. It is a 32-acre development that I'm going to tell you a little bit more about, tell you how it impacted the community, talk to you about how it was funded, tell you what impact it had overall. And it can be done to where everyone benefits. If it doesn't, you don't have a good public-private partnership. The guiding principles in a good public-private partnership is each have something they wish to accomplish. If the public sector could have done it on their own, which they probably could, they would have done it. If the private sector could have done it on their own, they would have done it. Otherwise, it would be done by now. If these people had the private sector could have supported it, they would have done it. But if you have both together, can make something accomplished, because each receives benefits and each has a seat at the table. Each helps describe what is to be built, and each has approval. Each has needs they need to be met and a role of responsibility to participate in. Our philosophy is the public sector should not participate in a public-private partnership unless the benefits, the direct and indirect benefits, exceed, we found that it works, unless the direct and indirect benefits from that project exceed, at least meet, the cost of the public investment. Think of it yourself. If you're going to go buy something as an investment, and you make an investment and you lose money, that's where your goal is, why would you do that? Why should the public do it either? Here are some of the... All right. Go ahead and hey! I'll be here all week. When you look at the direct and indirect impacts from a public-private partnership, behind me is a list of a few of them. The direct ones are easy to understand. They're the sales taxes, the property taxes. They're the fees that are generated, construction fees, different things. In some cases, it could be the hotel occupancy tax. It could be other things that happen. It could be the jobs that are generated. In some cases, and as is the case in Amarillo, there are venue taxes. The county benefits from a venue tax right now for some of the facilities that are out at the county fairgrounds. They're intangibles. It fills a community need. It could be an icon the community wants to develop. There's the indirect impacts of the quality of life enhancements. Think about this. When you build a park, typically people don't ask what's the return on investment. It's an indirect impact. It has a great impact on our lives, all of our lives. An activity center, inducement to surrounding development.
These are some of the things that we look at when we manage, when we evaluate public-private partnership opportunities. Ultimately, however, no matter what you do, a public-private partnership in and of itself cannot make a good project out of a bad project. You have to start with sound fundamentals. You have to have a sound business case for why it should be working. So let me give you a few examples. I'm going to give you examples from our public side of our experience and our private side of our experience. My experience is about 20 years in economic development. I spent 10 and a half years with that with the city of Sugar Land. In 1999, I started their economic development program and then progressed to become an executive director, essentially assistant city manager, where I had responsibility for the Sugar Land Regional Airport, Parks and Recreation for a time. I started their intergovernmental relations and also started their transportation planning department. So my experience comes from the staff level, working on what the staff sees day to day as they make recommendations to the city commission and the city council. David Wallace, on the other hand, is one of the named partners in the firm. He spent 3 terms as the mayor of the city of Sugar Land. I met him when he joined the city council. He was on the council for 1 year prior to being mayor. He brings the other side of that experience to the policy level. A lot of times when you're working with the development community, they may sit there and tell you what they need and why they have to do it and why it's good for you. And then they'll say enough about me, let's talk about me some more. That's not the way a good public-private partnership is supposed to work. We try to bring both sides, that left brain, right brain approach to public-private partnerships.